just bullshitting.
I had to get my internet started up again anyway.
Um, all right. Well, where we left off, you guys had just recovered this crystal shield, and well, I mean that's pretty much the last game was pretty much just one big fight, and then you guys figuring out how to open the Atlantean vault and recover this artifact that glows with its own power and inner light. It's a shield made out of a glowing golden crystal with veins of pulsating electric blue through it, and it's wrapped in some sort of the shield edge is wrapped in some sort of scarlet metal. I believe Baker's the one who picked it up, and it to his surprise, it weighs next to nothing.
So we're still down in the sewer here, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
That's right, and there's only one exit that we know of. Um,
yeah. There's the tunnel that the Serpent Men were fleeing to before you gunned them down in cold blood from behind. Um,
yeah,
trying to make someone feel bad for killing serpent people. It's kind
yeah,
of hard to
right.
do.
Is
Are,
Um,
that
are
is Nikki still alive? He's healed, right?
he's healed, yeah.
Okay.
um, I I saw I saw the big bada boom and the mouth to the cave entrance up top completely collapsed. Does that mean the entire cave has collapsed? Do you guys know if we have a way out of here? We can't go back the way I came.
Well, there were tunnels going in other directions, stuff we didn't follow.
But
You
but what about
guys, I was gonna say, you guys reasonably have no reason to think that the way you came in through the storm drain is sealed off.
That's true.
Yeah, that I guess I didn't have a good visual on that. Was that something that was too high for us for reach once we came down? Was it in the ceiling? Was it on the? I
It,
don't.
it shouldn't be too difficult to reach it.
Okay,
Yeah, you should be able to make your way back that way.
I that's my vote. Um, can I do a perception check with Luca for smell?
Yeah, to see like if she can find your way back type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd let you do that. Absolutely.
All right. Let me get her sheet up here.
I think that would be inside observation with smell focus.
Insight
I think that's the best way to
observation.
handle that.
Yeah. All right. Hold on one sec. Okay, so we'll do insight observation and all right.
Oh yeah, no problem. Yeah,
Good girl.
she can
Good
guide
girl.
you out.
So I command her to to have us follow.
All right, all right. So we'll cut through the narrative a little bit. As you guys make your way back through the tunnels, you're not entirely sure whether or not you're going the right direction, but Luca certainly seems to be. And then you eventually reach the point where you start finding Khan's chalk marks on the walls. So following them back from there makes it pretty simple. You reach the crack in the wall, which leads up into the actual sewer tunnel and to the drain above. It's still nighttime outside. It's
is
Go
is
ahead.
the shield still glowing?
Yes.
All I I take off my jacket and wrap this thing up in it. Does it still glow through the jacket, or is it still
No, I think that conceals it enough.
okay? Let's let's walk down the streets of Rome with a big lantern.
That's hilarious. We already have a bazooka and a machine gun.
That's right.
But they don't glow in the dark.
That's true. That is true. All right, so I think the whole way up the tube or whatever, up the drain, Slim is yelling at Nikki not to bang the bazooka on the walls or whatever. And then we make our way stealthily back to the safe house.
All right. Uh, for narrative purposes, I'm going to just simply move that along because I should make you make a stealth roll and then see what happens. But it the Rome is alive, even though it's probably 2 or 3 in the morning. There's sirens going off. You have to slink from shadow to shadow and alley to alley, avoiding uh, Italian police. There's a number of soldiers about. As as you get closer to the safe house, there's the you pass by the castle and near the work camp. From afar, you can see that the whole place is well lit. There's an alarm sounding in the camp. There's a hornet's nest of activity going on, and you guys work very hard to actively avoid all of that. You make it to your safe house. When you get there, the padre opens the door inside and ushers you all in very very quickly. Uh, he sees um, he sees Lucretia and give me 1 second. Darn it! I accidentally closed the page I was on. I could use again. I could use the PDFs, but I don't know why I enjoy a book. Uh, he sees Lucretia and he breathes a sigh of relief because he's your contact, one of your contacts here. So I guess on some level, so he recognizes who these two people are, and he says, uh, "You found her. This is wonderful."
Well, what'd you think was going to happen? We told you we'd get it done.
He says they're uh, just just uh, just about a half hour ago. Soldiers came by. There's a search going through the city. I think you have caused some trouble.
I
That's what
think
we do best, sir.
we've worn out our welcome in Rome, gentlemen.
God dang, I didn't even get any pizza. Where are we headed next?
Yeah, that's something we need to figure out, don't we?
Yeah, Lucretia, uh, who is actually that's actually not her real name.
Correct.
Um, she she looks at Nikki and she looks at you guys, um, and she says, "My my real name is Sabia Janetti, and we Nikki and I can't stay here. Our cover in Rome is blown. We have to leave. I
Well, where are you headed, sweetheart?
uh I'm not sure. Nikki, she kind of looks at Nikki and Nikki says, "Well, France is nearby. Perhaps there, perhaps if we can get to France, we can reach out to London and figure out what they want us to do next. But we can't stay in Rome, and surely the four of you can't either."
Well, we're always on the move. And he's like in the kitchen like rifling around in glasses and stuff, uh, looking for something to drink.
Um,
I imagine he's like just covered in gore still.
Yeah, I'm sure he is.
yeah, we smell pretty bad.
Yeah.
Um, so the notebook that we took a brief glance at was in German. Um, I read it out loud. Khan was looking over my shoulder, and what we know is that there were pieces of this from Ehrlichman's research. There were pieces of this weapon around the globe. We found the one in Rome, but the other places named were Cairo, Nepal, Honduras, ancient Persia, and India. So
India, ain't that where Singy's from?
it
I may
is.
have heard of this place.
He looks over at you, Sing, and he says, "You got pretty ladies over there."
The most beautiful, I assure you, Slim.
Well, that sounds right. Fine.
Well, I think we need to. I think we need to act on our own initiative, gentlemen. I don't think we can wait 1 or 2 or 3 days for a response from London on where we should go next. I think we have to decide. We can't stay in this hornet's nest.
Well, one
Yeah,
thing's for sure, I'm gonna
I
need a
totally agree.
resupply.
Totally agree.
well, India seems to be the logical choice. Khan having contacts all over there already, not to mention language skills.
the
It's a bit of a haul to get to India. Cairo is closer.
That is
Where's
true.
that?
Just across the pond.
I can see Slim now. Oh, wait a minute. Is that where them big pointy things are?
I'm
Look like
surprised he
triangles.
doesn't call it Cairo.
Cairo.
That's
Which,
what they
by the
call it
way,
down in Illinois.
yes, they do.
It's been a
Drives me
long
up the
time,
wall.
but where does the Orient Express go?
I do speak Arabic, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Well, are you suggesting that we make a way around the world, pick up the rest of these shields or whatever?
It just it. All I'm saying is, um, from a transportation point of view, it seems like Nepal and Honduras are farthest away. We could go Cairo. Persia is really um, is Persia right now. This is the beginning of the Second World War. Is it's Ottoman Empire or do Iraq and Iran already exist? I don't think they existed yet. I don't remember.
Ooh,
Yeah, I'm
I'm
not sure.
talking out a game.
Yeah.
that's
That's a
a
good
really
question.
good question. I don't
No,
know.
they didn't. They
Yeah.
didn't.
I want to
That's
say
carved
it was
out.
Ottomans,
But
but I
still,
could definitely be wrong.
When you say ancient Persia, Baghdad comes to mind.
Well, that's Iraq. Persia,
Persia,
that is
ancient
Iran
Persia.
now, but
No,
right.
ancient Persia was Iran, Iraq. It was really big.
That's
Yeah,
true.
parts of Syria. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all. I'm saying that
Yeah. Okay.
if we're just picking cities, it just seems like we got Cairo, Baghdad,
Right.
India, someplace I don't know where in India. It just said India, and Nepal.
Well, I appreciate that we were given a choice, but in game terms, is it up to us, or is there like, are there only certain places where they can send us?
Well, I think the Padre would suggest um, that he can arrange to have you. Okay, so as of 1920, um, for example, Baghdad became the capital of the British Mandate of Iraq.
Okay, 1920.
Uh, and we're not there yet, but in 1941, there's an Iraqi coup in Baghdad, resulting in the Anglo-Iraqi War. Anyway, the
Thank you,
Padre,
Google.
yeah, well, Wikipedia, uh, the Padre the Padres let you know that he can arrange to get you out of Rome and into France, first thing in the morning. And then and Nikki says, well, from there we can reach out to our contacts in Section D, and maybe you can maybe you can reach out to whomever your handlers are and figure
Okay.
out what they want you to do next.
As long as we get out of here, that's a plan. So we can get some input. All right. What do you guys think? We go to France and then we contact our handlers and see if there's. We give them our information and we see if there's any instructions on where to go next. Otherwise, we'll do our own thing.
That sounds like a wise idea to me. Never did been to Cairo before. Excitable about that. I'm going to need some new clothes for the train, though.
Yeah.
Well, I'm wearing a German uniform that I can burn. So, so that's
That sounds like the most reasonable plan.
and I think we want to. I think the shield's 2 feet across, so I think it'll fit in a decent sized suitcase. Padre, you think you can find me something that looks like a tourist suitcase?
No problem.
All right, so I'll throw the shield in there with some of my effects. Meanwhile, I'm going to strip off this nastiness and take a shower and get ready to go.
All right. Is the okay? I guess we'll resupply in France here. Yeah, I guess Slim's gonna wait for second dibs on the shower and then stash gear while he's waiting.
All right.
Oh, guys, I forgot to. I was looking forward to play it. I forgot to say I have a hard stop today at 11:45, maybe 11:50.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we won't go to India.
Um,
All right. Do we have any other administrative stuff to take care of? Let's see. You've still, Khan. You still have the figurine, right?
I do.
you were the last person to hold it.
Okay, then I do. Yes, I do. It's right here.
Is it pointing back the way we came?
It's pointing directly at the shield.
Shield. Oh my.
Give this to the Germans.
It's better than find my iPhone.
Maybe we should smash that thing. Seriously, I just
Oh yeah, actually, it's.
it could
I don't
help us,
know.
but it could also doom us. Like
I
maybe
don't
we
know.
should.
Do you think it's only for this object? It seems like it, but maybe if there's another object nearby, it'll start pointing to that.
Well, if we lose it, we can use the statue to find it again. But if we lose the statue, they can find us.
Exactly.
Well, I'd say let's keep it safe for now. Um, I have a notebook that we at some point want to look in more detail, see if there's anything else in there. Boy, we saved 2 guys. We picked up a shield, a figurine, and a notebook. I don't know. For one night's work?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it was eventful.
I'd like
Wasn't
to remind you that many Bothans died to bring us this shield.
it?
Oh,
I do turn to the our contact in the. I guess it's a monastery in Abbey.
the Padre?
Padre, and ask him. We do have some remnants of our foes in my possession. Is that something that you can share with our home office?
Uh, he uh, he kind of looks at you quizzically and says, I think you had best talk to them directly about that."
What I what
You
I
get
meant was, is there another physical contact that comes and visits the monastery, provides money, and brings back other stuff to where it needs to go? In other words, is there a drop point near here?
Uh, there is, but I'm not expecting.
Nothing
I'm not
soon.
expecting another contact for at least a month.
Okay. I will make plans to dump this into the river on our way out of the town then.
what what
You need something dumped
what
in
are
the
we
river?
what are we talking about exactly?
Fingers, teeth, cloth.
You're not going to keep any of it?
I don't know that I want to travel internationally with it. Do you think that that's a wise idea unless we can get it into the hands of our handlers?
Well, that's the question. Can we do it in France? We're
Well,
going to France.
I'll be honest with you. I think I swallowed some of that.
Yeah.
France, it's like going to Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's right.
So out of character, the way that we travel with these agents, do we try to do it through legitimate routes, or are we always, is it the norm for the,
It can be a mix of things. I think in this particular instance, the Padre is going to arrange something uh, more discreet.
okay, all right, then I'll go ahead and hang on to them. My worry was, getting stopped, rumbling down the road in a car and checkpoint. They start searching things and they find a bunch of alien fingers. I know there's other stuff that they could find too, but like the
Well,
shield.
it would be police because we're not at war with anybody yet. But
Well, yeah, police do roadblocks.
and then we do have to cross the border into France. It would be
Right.
interesting if they searched your bag and found a finger with a claw on it.
Yeah, or a giant shield that glows. So I guess it's a moot point about the claws.
I bought that
Yeah, it's a souvenir
at a
from.
souvenir shop.
It's a
The
centerpiece
Vatican's
for
got
our next
cool gift
raid.
shop.
Best way through a checkpoint is straight through.
All right. Sorry, my.
You want I should drive us to France?
I think that would be
All
best.
right, I'm 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 getting ready to go. I'm
Yeah.
out here taking my shower. All right.
All right. The next morning, which is really only, let's be blunt, it's really only a few hours away.
Yep.
Um, the Padre wakes you up early and ushers you all out the back of the monastery. Uh, there's a covered truck waiting there for you. Because let's be blunt, there's six of you, right? Um,
Yeah.
y-
Now and a
Yeah.
dog.
yeah, and a dog. Um, and he assures you that just stay in the truck, everything will be fine. And you know, uh, a while later, hours later, you guys finally cross over the border. I'm shortening this up a little bit, keeping in mind our time constraints. Uh,
Travel montage.
yeah, exactly. You've got the map with the red line going across it. Um, I France, you guys come to a stop in a small town in southeastern France. The Nikki and Lucretia, or I should say, Sabia. They step away from you guys for a little while, saying that they're going to reach out and they'll get see what kind of response that they can get in terms of where they should go next, what they should do next, that type of thing. Um, so you guys have a few days to kill in. That was a weird sound. You guys have a few days to kill in France. Anything you guys particularly want to? I mean, there's not a whole lot I think you can do, but if you guys have any ideas or anything along those lines.
Well, Slim spent the hours in the truck cleaning his weapons and his gear pretty meticulously. And by the time he gets to France, he's ready to. I don't know. I think he's ready to for some R&R while we're waiting for instructions.
It's like we need carousing rules.
That's right.
I don't think he's doing anything crazy. I just think he's, he's just
I think
sort of a
carousing might
Russian
Jim,
be.
what game was that had that?
D&D.
D&D has it, yeah.
Well,
Is it
so
D&D?
so did Conan.
Conan too. That's
Oh,
the one I'm thinking of. Conan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
nice.
did we come into France anywhere in particular? I'm thinking the closest place is probably Nice.
Oh, that's a very, very good question. Let's take a look.
Because if you'd come from Rome, you'd basically go up the coast over to
Correct.
Nice rather than climbing up into the mountains near Turin.
Yeah, absolutely. So Nice is yeah, that makes the most sense. And Nice is probably the first real major city. There's a number of smaller towns and villages on the way, but yeah, Nice on the coast is probably the one that makes the most sense. Um, absolutely. So you
Nice is
guys are
nice.
on the coast. So you guys are on the you guys are in Nice, which is on the coast of the I think that's the Ligurian Sea, is it not? I think it's not technically part of the Mediterranean, but anyway. Um, yeah, 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 yeah.
My plan is just for rest to get rid of the fatigue I have.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, good call. Well, all right. So yeah, I'm at some beachside bar, I guess.
Um, this is an interesting question, but how do we submit our report to London? It's do we put something together in code and send a telegram? Do we make a phone call, but again in code? Because who could be listening? I'm thinking of the technology of 1939, and if we have a safe house, we just assume that we have a contact there who can get anything we want where it needs to go. But we're in Nice on our own. But we need to report back to our handlers about everything that happened in some kind of secure way. I'm not sure how to do that in 1939.
Well, I think Nikki and Sabia are going to help you with that a little bit. Uh, after a couple days, they receive a telegram that they share with the four of you. Uh, that states that the that Section D is recalling the Viennese team, which is how you guys started, back to London. And meanwhile, they're sending Sabia and Nikki on to Marseille for further instructions. So transportation is being arranged. You'll be able to you'll be able to pick up a flight that brings you back to London in 2 days. So
All right. Well, I mean, maybe there's. Is this the period of time in which we are quote unquote leveling up, or is this
yeah, yeah,
okay?
we can definitely handle that.
Or
So let's talk about that for a moment, shall we?
I didn't know if we should be role playing some kind of advancement.
So
And by the way, there is a British consulate in Marseille. Just
Ooh.
saying.
So let's talk about, and let me pull up this little spreadsheet here, my handy dandy spreadsheet.
All right, Cthulhu the accounting.
That's right. Everyone knows it's the best part of any role playing game. Um, all right. So, everyone get your notepad out.
Got it.
Goals.
Mm-hmm.
5 XP for achieving the main objectives of the mission. You guys, your main objectives were to find and recover the missing agents, which you succeeded. So that's 5.
Okay.
Heroism. This is for the players to vote on. Who performed heroic deeds?
Oh, that's Baker for sure in the office.
I agree. I think it's more who didn't.
Yeah. I really, well, that's a fair question.
Yeah.
So here's the question: does everyone feel that every character did something heroic in this game?
I do.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm persuaded by that. Yeah.
Okay. So then the secondary question would become who had the most heroic session, or the most heroic session during the scenario.
I really liked when Khan nuked Fuchs. I thought that was cool. I really, really liked when Baker had that role play in the camp site shed or whatever, and then had that awesome Mexican standoff, and then blew that guy away.
Yeah, that was good.
So great.
We wouldn't have survived the snake man attacks, if it wasn't for Slim mowing down half of them twice.
Appreciate it.
And I mean, because characters have to go with what they have available to them. I mean, these adventures wouldn't get off the ground if Pilecki didn't like use his psychic powers to tell us what the fuck to do and where to go and what's happening
Yeah.
next.
Yeah, that's
So it's
true.
like it's one of these questions that's like you can't really judge. Like if Henry is a ninja, so he does ninja stuff, right? So in that way, yes, that's like more heroic. And Slim is a gun guy, so he does gun stuff, and in that way, it's more heroic. But Pilecki is a psychic, and so you can't really judge him on those other criteria. You know what I'm saying?
So
Yeah.
to answer the question, of the 4 characters who all did something heroic, who would you guys say was at the greatest risk of anybody?
Oh, I think Henry.
Yeah, Baker.
Henry. Yeah.
Okay.
Being alone with no backup.
Yeah, on his own like that.
All right. So then we award Baker 5 XP for that, and the other 3 characters 3.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Invoking a truth. I don't think anybody invoked a truth in a negative way to gain a fortune point.
No.
Not to gain a fortune point.
Failure. Gain an XP if you fail a skill test in which you bought 1 or more D20s. I hate to admit I didn't keep track of that, but
Yeah, I saw
have,
that rule. Yeah.
I have to believe everybody did that. So we're just going to award that 1 XP to everybody.
Okay.
I just thinking about it in my head, I have to believe that happened.
I know in particular, I think I remember Walter having more than one of those. I thought he had 2.
I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I seem to recall that too.
Yeah.
So I think Walter should have 2 points.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll give that. Yep, that's good.
But I'm not going to run through all the old
Right.
YouTube posts, all those hours to find it.
No, we're going to have to try and do a better job of keeping track of that. That's all. Okay, threat spend. You gain 1 XP when the GM spends 3 or more threat at once. Well, congratulations, gentlemen. That happened 3 times. So 3 XP for that.
Oh, how much you give it for that?
It's 1 per time, and I did it 3 times.
So 3 points.
Yep, 3 points. All right, now GM awards.
All right, so the manual, I don't know if you guys have read this, but the manual says GMs will also award XP for good role playing or audacious, innovative, or amusing actions or dialogue.
Well, that's where we're at now. So,
Slim's got a lot of amusing dialogue.
Oh well, thank you.
That is true.
uh, did a PC distinguish themselves through outstanding and conspicuous acts of bravery, gallantry, or heroism?
Every day.
Um,
Are you polling the audience here, or is this your
well, a little
decision?
bit of
Right?
both. It's my
Okay.
decision, but I'm polling the audience as well because I like to have you guys have a talk on it.
Well, obviously Baker always, Slim a lot. Um, Khan, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think yeah. I mean, I don't want to be like
No,
everybody did awesome, but I don't.
no, I think I'm going to give you guys each 5 XP for that.
Well,
Awesome. Thank you.
Damn, that's generous. Thank you.
Um, we had one PC who was wounded, did we not? Didn't Walter take an injury?
He did.
Yeah, so that's 5 XP for
Yeah, he took a
Walter.
pretty bad one too, right? Wasn't that a bad one? Either way.
He did he take the scar? Yeah, he's
yeah,
Yeah.
obsessed with the
yeah,
King in Yellow.
yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's right.
Did a PC find an innovative or novel solution to a problem they encountered?
Hmm. Interesting to think about.
All right, so we were monkeying with the locks and stuff in that last section, or the statue that chopped off hands. Baker snuck into the
Ah,
camp.
yes, I have one.
Yeah.
To Kyle for coming up with the idea to use a fortune point to reunite our party so we could be together again. I think that was a good solution
I
to obviously getting our asses kicked, but also a meta solution so that um, Marty VP didn't have to sit out another session.
I
Yeah, well,
absolutely agree.
I would have Baker, if he had to hustle all the way back to the grate and then follow your markings, he would have never made it.
Yep. So I'm definitely going to award 5 points to Slim for that.
Well, thank you.
Any other innovative or novel solutions, gentlemen?
That was, I think, one of the biggest ones I can think of.
I actually really agree.
Well, thank you.
I thought that was tremendous.
Yeah,
Never
because
get-
all of a sudden Henry fell through a hole and slid down a pipe.
Yeah, and it would have
perfect,
stuck. Like, how else would you would have missed out on like 2 hours, like just from outside of the actual characters what they're trying to do. I just think that's a good heads up thing because what you're going to sit there for 2.5 3 hours while we did another fight that you had to sit through and not play the last time before. Like that sucks. So anyway, problem evolved.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to stop talking now.
We never did get to put Khan in the body bag. We'll have to save that gimmick for later.
Why is my there it goes?
Moving through here.
Second.
Oh yeah, I'm looking through some of the notes that I've taken, and we had that whole scene with the fountain where you guys had to sneak the leaves out.
Oh God, yeah, that
Bring
was
them back.
I thought of some other things too that were pretty awesome. That ability that Walter has, like in the nick of time,
Oh man,
he's used that like multiple times.
That is true.
Do some pretty intensely.
yeah. I don't know if that's
Some shit.
unique though. I'm just exploiting.
Well, I do think Sharif has a point because Walter, you front load. It's very clear to me that in all these scenarios, like the first 4 episodes, you're the pivotal player here about guiding us to the action, right? And then
Yeah, I agree.
When that culminates in combat, you're that.
Well, I did have that one good shot.
Yeah, you did. You
Yes,
did.
you.
Well, and you got the dog too, which makes a huge difference.
And didn't you literally get Lucretia using that special
I
skill of
did.
Yeah,
his?
he did.
But
Yeah, and so that gained us 5 points. You gained all of us 5 points. I mean, could we have done it some other way? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But the
no,
fact
that
is,
one allowed
that's the way it was done.
Slim could do the salvo then when I got her.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot about that. You
So
ran out and
these
Yeah.
grabbed
things
her.
are pretty pivotal, man. If you
Yeah,
really think about it, like after the fact,
I,
there's a lot of stuff that hinges off of Walter doing shit.
and I think I don't know that that falls under the innovative or novel solution, but it definitely follows under the distinguishing themselves section. So, um, okay, next question. Was a PC willing to sacrifice their well being or put themselves at risk for the good of their group?
Oh yeah, Khan almost died casting a spell.
I,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, Baker went into the camp alone. That's 5 points. Pilecki was willing to deal with psychic burnout and an injury and achieved a scar, for the good of the group.
Yeah.
Khan was willing to cast spells even though he was already at risk of taking an injury. And then Slim, you had to have something that I'm missing. It's so easy to look at Slim and enjoy his role playing and go, he guns people down. It's what he does. But um, moment where you were willing to sacrifice your well being, put yourself at risk for the good of the group?
Oh, I don't know.
I think in that combat, he could have done things differently if he was trying to like preserve himself.
Yeah.
But he just stepped on the gas despite having like 3 or 4 snake men on him.
Yeah, that's
I
true.
mean, I spent half the combat shooting dudes that were on Slim.
That's very true.
I
Yeah.
did take like 10 stress or something.
Yeah, so we're just going to give that 5 points all around.
Okay. Thank you.
Um, Particularly adept or enjoyable role playing of their character. I mean, I
Wait, sorry. Did you just give us another 5 points on top of the 5 points from before? We're on
well,
category 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've had 5 rounds of handing out points.
yeah,
Was that last 5 the sixth round? I just want to make sure I'm not losing the math here.
no, that was right now I've got you. I'm actually got it all plugging into a spreadsheet. I've got you
Oh,
guys
okay.
at 24 for Baker, 28 for Pilecki, 22 for Singh, and 27 for Slim.
Okay.
Um,
And before you ask your next question, I have a
yeah,
question about the dog. Is the dog a PC or an NPC?
NPC.
Okay. So I was just wondering, does the dog earn XP and level up? Apparently not. It is what it
It
is.
is what it is.
Okay.
Correct. Particularly adept or enjoyable role playing of their character. I mean, I, obviously, we all got to give 5 points to Slim on that one,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
Agree.
um, I mean, I think everybody does a great job of role playing their character. I really don't have any situations where I'd say somebody doesn't do that. So we're just going to run that down the line. Um, Permanently defeated a major adversary, NPC, or recurring nemesis.
Oh,
Oh, that's
look
Khan.
at that, Con. Look
Hey
at you
guys,
go.
points are not necessary. I got all the satisfaction I needed out of that when it happened. That was so good. Still good. The aftertaste is still so good.
I yeah,
I hated that guy from fucking I don't know
well,
Good
2 months
villain.
ago.
he was easy to hate.
Yeah, he was. You did a good job making him hateful.
So here's the total awards. We're at 29 for Baker, bringing him should be to a balance of 33. Because I think you had three left over. 33 for Pilecki, bringing him to a balance of 36. 32 for Singh, bringing him to a balance of 38. And 32 for Slim, bringing him to a balance of 35.
Nice.
That's a lot of XP.
That is a lot of XP.
That's awesome.
That's what happens when you have a lot of threat, right?
Yeah. And obviously, this mission was substantially more challenging than Vienna. Um, uh, Vienna, don't get me wrong, Vienna had some opportunities to be really deadly, but not as much as Rome does. Rome requires you guys. There's a lot more going on in Rome. So now you guys, as we talked about, one improvement to your character. You can improve an attribute. You can improve by 1 point. It costs 10 points per improvement. I'm sorry. You can improve an attribute by one up to a max of 12. You can improve a skill by one up to a max of 5. You can buy a focus in a skill, and you can buy a talent. Now, if you read the official rules, gentlemen, the official rules state you can only make one improvement between adventures.
Right.
But and this was everybody's reaction on this game. How is that even possible? Because some of these adventures you're going to earn 40, 50 XP points on.
Mm.
So that rule really just doesn't make any sense. So I'm just, as a GM, I'm tossing that out. If you've got the points, you can spend it. So you all have enough
Oh,
points to make 3 improvements to your
Awesome.
characters.
oh, shit. Okay.
Awesome.
All
So,
right.
Oh,
um,
and then if we clarify the language thing,
yes,
um, so Hachiman Marty knows that I was researching the manual, and the player's manual says that the number of languages that you can have depends on your reason.
correct.
Okay, and now according to the manual, you start with your primary language, and then based on your backstory, you can have a secondary language. Bonus languages depend on your reason, and there's a table. I forget what page it's on. It's like page.
It's early in the player's guide somewhere.
Guys,
Yeah.
I'll be right back. I got to take my dogs out.
Oh,
There's
okay.
also just
Okay, keep talking. It's fine.
2 cents to back up VP. There's also the polyglot talent,
Correct. And
Yep.
there,
which
you can also have a linguistics focus, which would give you another language, allowed you to have more languages if you have a linguistics focus. So all I'm trying to say is that when it comes to learning a new language, I think that you have to have sufficient reason and other things to allow you to. And then I think you can do it. So it seems to me, let's say, just thinking out loud, let's say that you had a reason of 10. I think 9 or 10 gives you an extra language. I'm trying to find it. Um, and if you spent your XP to raise your reason to allow the language, the question is, would you also have to spend 10 more XP to get the language? Or do you say, I spend my 10 XP on my reason to allow me an extra language, and now I'm going to pick a language? How do
Yeah.
you want to do that?
So we I looking further into that late last night. The rules really were not clear on learning additional languages throughout the game, and
They're
that's why
not.
people had come up with the house rule. But Modifius absolutely confirmed that to learn additional languages throughout the game, you would have to either increase your reason to the point where you gain bonus languages, in which case at that point you just pick what language you want. And narratively speaking, your character was probably working in his downtime to learn this language. Or you pick up the polyglot talent or some other in-game mechanic that allows you to gain a language. They did account for it in the rules. They just weren't clear about it.
How does the polyglot talent work?
Let's see. Where's my player's guide?
I have it.
I'm just trying to get it square because right now, uh, Henry's reason is really low, and he won't get any bonus languages for a
You
long
going to
time.
work out? Okay, okay. It says on my character sheet you must have the linguistics focus to select this talent.
Correct.
So you have to have that. You gain an additional truth, polyglot. You also know 3 additional languages of your choice. And when faced with a language you don't know, you may spend one momentum in order to understand the overall meaning of the text or conversation.
Wow.
I didn't remember that second part. That would have
And
really helped us if I had remembered that. Oh,
Yeah,
shoot.
probably.
Yeah. Oh, well. Okay.
so, um, so what is Khan's reason?
Let me see here. Khan's reason is that is something I'm considering. Perhaps maybe
Reason and will you guys use for magic, right?
I use insight.
Oh, insight. Okay.
Yeah, I've put all my efforts into insight.
Yeah, so Henry, looking at your character sheet, if you wanted to pick up the polyglot talent, for example, you would have to put 2 ranks into academia. Okay. Then you would have to buy the linguistics focus, and then you'd have to buy the polyglot talent. So, like, to get your character all the way to polyglot, you would have to invest a total of 40 XP to get there.
Yeah. Whereas if I invest 30 XP, I get to 9 reason and I get a language.
That's true. Look at the big brain on Henry.
But I'm not going to do that because we have other guys with better scores that can pick up languages easier. I can't spend all my XP leaning into that, I don't think. So that's why I was asking, it would be interesting to know where Walter was and stuff. And Slim,
Yeah.
um, I was wondering, growing up in Texas, does Slim have any Spanish in his backstory, or is it all about being able to find the biblioteca and El Baño?
Well, I imagine Slim being right on the border, and his girlfriend or so-called girlfriend is Mexican. But
Supposed girlfriend.
I never took, I never took a truth to that.
Okay.
But I'm sort of,
What's his reason score?
uh, his reason score is 7.
Okay. So he's a bit away from earning a language too. You know where I'm headed on this. If we end up in Honduras, we're eventually going to have to learn.
Right.
I think we'll have to learn Spanish.
It is under British occupation at this time in
It
history.
is, so they'll know some English, so we can get by. Most of Central America is like that. There's a strong English. Um, what's the word I'm looking for?
Influence.
Influence. Not British necessarily, but America and Britain,
Well,
whatever.
well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. There might be a workaround here. Because you can, once per adventure, retrain something.
You can. That's a true statement.
So, is it plausible to retrain your truth about your languages? I realize that's you know
That's
It's
interesting.
interesting.
that
So,
I think we have another workaround, and that is that
yeah.
if we don't go to Honduras first, we have time to pick up. One of us has time to pick up Spanish as a language before we end up going there.
That is true. Or I'm thinking, I
Can I interject real quick?
Sure.
sure.
Sorry, I know I'm coming into this in the middle, but so my character, I'm kind of making, like I always say, he's the squishy, nerdy, wants to dwell in the dark arts kind of guy, but also an academic. I don't have a linguistics focus, but I do have 2 in academia, and there's I guess it's called is it called a skill or a folk? I don't know what this is. A polyglot?
Yeah, it's a talent.
A
Talent.
talent, right? I don't know if you guys have looked at this or not. You probably have. But I have to have linguistics as a focus, which I can do. I can pick that up because I already have 2 in academia. And then it says you have to have that, but then with this talent, you also know 3 additional languages of your choice. And when faced with a language you don't know, you may spend 1 momentum in order to understand the overall meaning of the text or conversation.
Yeah, so Khan has that talent already, and
Does he?
that's what allows him to speak as many languages because he speaks English and Punjabi as his
Right.
his original languages, and then he has Atlantean, Latin, and Arabic, right? Con.
So we should be pretty
That
good.
is correct.
So yeah, the only language hole in the game is uh, obviously from the standpoint of where you guys have to go. The only language hole in the game is Spanish, um, at least based on where you think you have to go.
Right, but with the polyglot talent, right, you can just
You
spend the
can
momentum and get the general gist of
true,
what you're saying.
Plus the advantage that because of the because of the history of the region, there's a fair number of people in South and I mean in Central America that have some English. So we've got that going for us. We might run into somebody from time to time who doesn't speak English, but in general, we're going to run into somebody who at least knows Pidgin English.
So we should be pretty good, is what I'm
I
hearing.
think so.
Okay.
I'm thinking anyway. Um, yeah, we can take a look at it. I was just wondering what
No, good
what's
idea.
Walter's reason score?
He's got 10.
So he gets a bonus language.
Right, which I have. I think I picked, was it German? I forget.
All
yeah, I
right.
believe that's right because you have Polish and English as your
Yeah.
starting.
Yeah, and then
So
German.
if you chose in the future,
Uh-huh.
if you thought you really wanted to have Spanish in the future, you could increase your reason score by one, and that'll give you another language.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
At 11, you get two
yep,
languages.
that's correct. Two
Oh,
bonus
And then
languages.
if you
all right.
take,
Well,
and then later, if you take the linguistics focus, you'll end up getting a third language.
so I think we're okay here because I was going to increase reason anyway because the spell that I'm looking to pick up uses reason as
Oh, nice.
I think it does. No, it doesn't.
Okay, and I'll just
Well,
interject here that from a role playing perspective, I mean, it would make a lot of sense for Slim to speak at least bad Spanish.
Well, that's true too because you're in Texas.
So, and that would give me some role playing opportunity there. So, if you don't want to use the resource, I could finagle something to make that happen.
Hmm.
All right, we have some time to decide.
Yeah.
so real quick, Walter, if you're thinking about spontaneous combustion, all of your spells use reason to cast.
Right,
And then the skill associated with spontaneous combustion is resilience.
right.
So you'll want to look at that. I don't know what if you have resilience or what your
I
score
do. I have
is.
one in it, so I would probably do the spontaneous combustion, increase will, or I mean reason by one, which would gain me that language, and then also add. Um, I think either a point to resilience, or I don't know which is better, adding a focus or a point.
Well, there's no value to adding a focus unless your rank in the skill is at least two.
Okay, so I got to go to. So that's you just guys just made my decision. So I'm doing spontaneous combustion, increase reason by one, which gives me Spanish, and also increase resilience by one.
Okay. All right. So that spends 30 for you, which leaves you with six.
Mhm.
So yeah, go ahead and make all those adjustments to your character sheet.
Excellent. Oh, can't wait.
Um, all right.
I have to admit that I wasn't necessarily expecting to earn so many. Um, hey, do we earn a medal?
One thing at a time.
Um, no, Henry doesn't care about medals. Just to be clear, he's had his fill of medals. You can take your medal and melt it
Well,
down for somebody. The So for sure, Henry is going to increase brawn by one, which continues to improve his melee skills, which is important for his knife handling and up close fighting. Okay.
All right.
In other words, Henry's
mhm.
going to lean into his strengths, and fighting's one of his strengths. So I'm increasing brawn by one. That puts me at 10. So that changes his bonus damage to 2 for melee. And then he's going to increase his persuasion skill by 1. So that's used 20 points. And now I didn't know I was going to have enough for another one, so I got to give it some thought.
Okay.
So why don't you guys,
We can come back to you in a minute.
yeah.
Slim, what are you thinking?
So I have my three decided on here. So I'm increasing brawn and I'm increasing resilience.
Okay.
Gets a little extra stress. I am considering. There's three things that I'm considering. Either 5 rounds rapid, which you get your first D20 free on a salvo if you buy extra,
Oh shit.
which makes sense for him. But I don't know if it's overkill. I don't want to be a one-trick pony. Um, the other possibility is take a resilience talent, hard as nails, increase the armor because he does seem to be the meat shield. I've got the remaining XP to either add a truth or do something with that Spanish idea that we've talked about.
Well, looking into
Mhm.
it, when it comes to retraining,
Yeah.
retraining applies to an attribute point, a skill point, or a talent. It
Oh,
does not apply to a truth.
okay. I guess I do have the XP though to just make a truth, right?
I don't know if XP can be spent to make a truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Um, if you want to gain a truth due to significant event and adventure, you gain 10 XP. Okay. Well, I had the role playing moment about this girl he's waiting for, but yeah, all right. I could see mechanically it not being
Oh, I see where you're
efficient.
going with it. I got you.
Yeah, I was just trying to bend this to make the game work, but I think I'm gonna just for fun. I'm gonna. Well, you can only buy one skill, right? One improvement at a time,
Um,
or is it in any area?
no, I'm not too worried. But I see the section you're talking about, though.
Yeah.
Um, if you want to gain, I missed this. Due to a sufficiently significant event and adventure. I mean, if you wanted to spend 10 XP for that story about the girl you're waiting for, that's waiting for you, and and that gives you a kind of a passing knowledge of Spanish, I'd be okay with that. If I mean, it fits the character, I'm okay with that if you want to do that.
Okay, that sounds good, and we'll make it something ambiguous, so like you could also invoke it as bad for him
Yeah,
because he doesn't really speak Spanish, but he knows enough to
yeah,
talk to his girlfriend's dad. You know.
yeah, yeah. I got you. All right, yeah, that's fine. We can do that. I'm
All
good
right.
with that. I like character moments anyway.
Cool.
Um, Sing, you have 38 points according to my spreadsheet.
Yes, sir.
How would you like to spend XP?
Well, the main thing is figuring out the spell situation. What's possible that'll decide what I do with the rest of the points.
Well, um, we can handle this a couple ways. One of the easy ways to handle it would be your teacher is in India, and India is one of the places on the list of places you guys have. So it'd be very easy to incorporate those two things together if that makes sense. Um,
But then I'm pigeonholing the party into going to India, which maybe they'd rather go to Egypt or something else.
Well, I
Excuse
think
me.
Slim is very interested in knowing all about where you're from and what you're about.
um, I think it would be fun, but it's not up to me. So everybody should probably vote on where we're going next, and that would give us an idea of what's happening.
Um, well, I mean,
Yeah.
aren't we being? Isn't it being determined by Section M or whatever?
That too.
Yeah,
It may not be up to us at
Well,
all.
put
yeah.
it to you
That's what
this
my
way:
impression was.
as the GM, I'll figure out a way to handle it one way or the other. So
Oh, okay.
it's just a question is if I'll leave it up to the party if they want to narratively handle it from the standpoint of India being on the list of places you guys need to go anyway. So we can handle it that way, or I'll find another way to handle it. It's completely up to you guys. But the point is, don't let that stop you from buying a spell if you want to buy a spell
Okay.
with 10 XP.
Is it only one spell at a time that you can buy?
I don't see why.
Okay.
Because the
Um,
you know the well actually you know what hold on let me double check that before we move forward with that let me check the right place here because actually I think from the standpoint of learning spells because of just let me do a quick read while you're thinking here. I probably should have thought about this ahead of time, um, knowing that you would probably spend XP for a spell because it did dawn on me. Okay, so in the case of traditional spellcasters, where you have to be taught by a master, yeah, you can only learn one spell at a time. So if you want to buy a spell, that's
okay.
fine, but you can only buy one.
Sounds good. I would like to ask your opinion,
Please.
and maybe the guys can chip in here too and help me make a decision.
Sure.
The first spell that I looked at the other day that I thought might be interesting is a spell called Roots of the Earth. And what it does is it taps into the ancient byways and hidden roots of the world, blah, 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 basically to teleport the spellcaster and his companions, though not enemies or anyone who resists it, to a nearby location, disappearing as if they have been swallowed by the earth itself to reappear wherever the caster wills, even deep behind enemy lines.
Very cool.
So the thing is, though, it says so everybody has to be close to the caster up to a total number of targets equal to half the spellcaster's power, rounding up. I have a power of 5, so that's 3 people I can take, right? Which does the dog count as a person,
I would say yes.
or can he hold the dog and they count as one when he holds the dog?
Nah, I think we're trying to sidestep a
Because
little too much there.
because that will never work. That will never work because I'd have to transport 4 people and I can't. So I guess that would never work
Yeah, I'm looking at this here.
unless we, make Walter buy a new dog every time I use the spell.
Oh gosh.
That's a joke.
Well, and not only that, would you say your power is?
5.
Yeah, so rounded up, that's only three anyway,
That's what I'm
because
saying.
it's
It's
it's a
3 people, but I
total
can't take
number
with
of
it.
targets. So I mean, that wouldn't even take the whole party, regardless of the dog.
I think it's. Is it counting you?
Nah, it says up to a total number of targets
Oh, a
equal to
total
half.
number. Okay,
Yeah.
so never mind. That's useless to us then.
Well, I don't know
The
that it's useless, but it's maybe not quite as effective as you might have hoped for.
well, it was a last ditch,
Get us the
uh,
hell out of here
get
type
us the
thing.
fuck out of here, yeah, kind of a thing. So if I have to decide who gets left behind every time, I'd rather just not do that. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of gruesome. So
Yeah,
we'll just
leave Baker. He'll be fine.
he can fight his way out. The other one, I don't know. The Horn of Nate. I don't know how to pronounce that. Nate.
Possibly. Yeah.
It's basically a curse that it's like a holding spell, but each creature it affects each target's they get an athletic uh, check to see if they can all they can do is try to break free. They can't do anything
Yeah.
else,
So
and that's
it's
based on athletics.
It's a curse spell. Spell target to all enemy creatures within medium range of the spellcaster. That's pretty decent range. Spellcaster rolls their power and compares the number of effects rolled to the target's athletics For larger targets, add scale. Each creature whose athletics is lower than the number of effects rolled is ensnared and cannot take any physical action other than trying to break free. Yeah. Yeah, so you're right. You're exactly right. It's maybe not quite like exactly like a hold spell in D&D, maybe more like entangle or something like that.
Mm-hmm,
You
mm-hmm.
know, where they have the ability to break free.
Yeah, the reason
To
why I
break
was looking at
free.
that one was because it was one of the few that has like an AoE. There's just not that many. That's one of the reasons why I was saying earlier, Marty, when it was just me and you on like this spell book is 15 spells deep, and I think I saw 2 spells with AoE effects.
Yeah.
There's just not that many. So it's difficult, like what? Because that's something I see as like a big hole in Singh's spells. He has something, combat wise for like natural enemies and supernatural enemies, but it's always just one,
Right.
right? So what could he do to help like what, Slim does where he can take out 5 dudes, like we need a little more of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know what else would fit that.
I didn't ask how big the room is. I said cast fireball.
I said cast fireball.
Did you already talk about the cyclone thing?
I did not. That's
You looked
that's
at?
another. Yeah, I looked at that one. I don't know. What do you like about that one?
It'd be fun when it goes awry, but it's I like it because it goes to medium range immediately, and it's an area effect, and it's basically a tornado. It looks like, right?
Hmm.
Cyclone of wind into a zone within medium range. The cyclone receives its own turn in the action order, but it cannot be attacked or suffer any damage. Um, it'll inflict +1 stress. Anybody there? Piercing 1 and stun effects on all creatures and damageable objects within close range of it.
Jesus.
And then it will move to an adjacent zone. Damage inflicting against supernatural creatures has the vicious effect. The problem with it is the way that it gets from the spellcaster, the more of where it jumps to next is. So I don't know. That one kind
Well,
of
the only bad part about that spell is the very last line of the description. GM may spend 1 threat to move the cyclone instead.
Yeah, I know. Well, it is. It's
Would I do that?
yeah. But it's nice. It goes against
Oh, I
supernatural.
think it's if it gets too far away, the GM may do that.
Yeah, it says
It's not clear. It's not clear. Each
if
time
the
the
spell,
cyclone
you know,
moves,
if the spellcaster is further away than medium range, I put that in. Then the cyclone remains stationary. So I guess it doesn't move. Then the GM can move to use 1 threat to move instead.
okay, so if it gets out of my control, he can
Yeah,
move it. Okay.
yeah.
I don't know.
Kind of cool. I don't. But that's another option.
So it inflicts 1 physical stress with piercing 1 and stun effects. Does that seem like it's
Well, no, it inflicts your power +1 die worth.
+1?
So what's your power 5? So
Yeah.
you would roll 6 damage dice on it,
Oh, okay.
and it would get piercing 1 and stun for every effect rolled.
It
And then
moves on its own, which is kind of nice. It gets
and
its own attack.
yeah, and it
And I
gets.
can do shit while it's moving. I don't have to like.
I think once you. Well, I don't know about that. I think you have to concentrate on it. It doesn't really say it, but
It
Um,
says the spellcaster releases it towards its
yeah,
enemies.
the game doesn't really have it has concentration rules, but only on multi for spells. But that really applies to multi-step ritual tasks. It doesn't. It's not really in regards to battlefield magic, so it's not really an issue. Once you cast it, when it becomes the cyclone's turn, you just decide what direction it moves and then roll damage on anything in the zone. Pretty
I think I
much.
might have to go with Cyclone. I don't know. What do you guys think? The entanglement spell or the cyclone spell?
Cyclone sounds cool.
It
I
is kind of an AoE, and
we might have a little twister situation here because you could do cyclone and I'll do spontaneous combustion at the same
Oh
time.
boy.
oh man, you're talking about a
Swirling
what's
ball
that
of
called?
fire engulfing everything in the room.
Yeah, a fire. What is that called?
Jeez, retired fireman doesn't remember what that shit's called.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Hilarious. Um, those those whirlwinds of flame that they have.
It's not
Yeah,
bad.
you see them in wildland fires all the time.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
You'll-
I saw a little one, a little baby one in a grass fire once, and I was like, oh look, it's 2 feet tall.
It's so
How cute
cute.
is that? It's so cute. But I imagine if it was 50 feet tall, I probably would be shitting in my pants at the time. Yeah, I forgot what they're called. Anyway, yeah, that would be an interesting development, right? I don't know what. So you guys, it sounds like you guys are liking the cyclone thing, right?
Yeah, super cool.
Okay, that will be my selection then.
A fire whirl? Fire tornado?
Yeah, it's a fire tornado, but it has a specific name in real life, and
Fire
I don't.
devil?
That's the one I think.
It is also known as a fire nado, a fire swirl, or a fire twister. Those are all very unimpressive names.
I think Fire Devil's what I've heard before. That sounds.
Fire devil sounds a lot cooler.
It's the opposite of a what are they called on the ocean? Water spout? No, a water. There's a
Wa-
water version of it too.
yeah,
It's not just a fire.
water spout is it?
Water spout maybe.
Yeah.
Um,
I saw two of them when I was up at Carthage College during a storm right off campus.
yeah,
Swirling.
I think
Yeah, that
if I
was.
saw one of those at sea, that would just be
Mhm.
horrific, man. Anyway, all right. So, however we work that out, we'll work that out to get that spell. Yes,
Yeah,
and
yeah, we'll figure
then
that out now narratively.
I was thinking possibly of raising my will,
What's
which
your
would give
will
me a
now?
little more. It's 9.
Okay. Yeah, you could do that.
Um,
Oh, because insight's your big one, isn't it?
yeah, but will gives courage, I believe. That's what I was thinking of, is it would make me a little bit more resistant to my own magic.
Well, you have
That's
a
funny.
you have a pretty high courage, don't you? Don't you have 4 from a
I
talent or
have,
something like that?
well, I don't know what it's from. It's for. Um, are you taking over my sheet? Is that why it's bouncing
Yeah, I
around?
looked
Okay,
over. I'm sorry. I was
that's
curious.
fine. That's fine. I don't think I have a talent for that, but
I'm trying to figure out why your courage is 4. There's a reason for it. I just don't know what it is.
I do not either. It says bonus damage 1 under will. What does that mean?
Um, I your you gain bonus damage for the 3 different types of attacks depending on what skills involved. Like insight gives bonus damage to ranged attacks. Brawn gives bonus damage to melee attacks. Will gives bonus damage. Is it to magical attacks?
I looked it up before. I don't remember it saying anything about bonus damage at
Yeah,
all.
it's there somewhere. I'm gonna have to find it.
Because it says, sorry, where is the section on
Mental
filters?
attacks.
Mental attacks. I don't really do those, do I?
No,
Scroll.
no. There's not very many mental attacks for normal human beings. There's a few. Like you may use knife to the throat. You may use melee weapons to make a mental attack if the target of the attack is within reach and unarmed or defenseless. You make a normal skill test with the weapon, and the target opposes it with their will plus resilience. If you win, you inflict the weapon's stress, but as a mental damage instead. So there's not a lot of mental attacks for normal people, normal human beings.
I am trying to see. You gain courage equal to your academia's. No, that's a cult scholar. Wait, I am an occult scholar.
That's where it's coming from then.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
gain courage equal to your academia skill. This does not stack with the courageous talent.
yeah, yeah. So the courageous talent. Courageous is attached to what?
Resilience.
Resilience.
I think so.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't. Okay, so the courageous talent. Oh, courageous is a talent. It's not a focus. That's why I'm looking at it, going, why can't I find this? Oh, because it's a talent, you dork. Um, so yeah, courageous. You gain courage resistance equal to your resilience skill. So you've got a resilience of 2.
Mm-hmm.
So if you added the courageous talent for 10 XP, your courage would go up 2 points.
Yeah, I do like that.
For that matter, you could pump 10 points into resilience to make your resilience a 3 and buy the courageous talent. That would cost you 20 XP, but your courage would go up by 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then you still have 10 XP to buy that spell if you want.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting, isn't it? Let's do it. That makes me a much better spellcaster. So resilience, I'm moving it up to 3.
Yeah.
I'm resilient. And I will add that courageous talent
All right.
and the whirlwind spell. And I believe that's it for me, gentlemen. Thank you for your patience.
Yeah. And then you just have to decide
Yeah, of
how
course.
you want to reflavor that cyclone spell.
Will do.
And then Baker, you still have 12 points. But by the way,
Yep.
quick accounting, that puts Slim at a balance of 5, puts Singh at a balance of 8, Pilecki at a balance of 6, and Baker's at 12.
Yeah, so I'm trying to decide if there's a talent that I would like. Um, um, there's a few things
Wow.
that.
I almost. Sorry, Henry.
Go ahead.
No. I just exclaiming. I almost doubled my courage, guys. That's a big deal for spellcaster.
Hell yeah.
Big deal. Yeah, so I'm just trying to decide if there's a talent I want or if I should improve because I'm thinking my stealth is pretty good, but I'm thinking my stealth is pretty good, but could always be better. And I like this. I like this perfect timing talent, which is in the list of stealth keywords.
Yeah, yeah, Walter's got that one.
Yeah. Um, eh, so I'm struggling. I don't want to hold everybody up. This is
No, it's a tough
basically the
choice.
last that we got to do today.
Well, let's do this. Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a real quick 5-minute bio break
Okay.
and we can think this over and we can you can continue to think it over as we just move on with the narrative in between scenarios.
Okay.
And when you come to the decision, you can just let us know what it is. So, all right, 5 minutes. Be right back.
You guys still here?
Yeah, well, we took a real quick break because I'm still trying
Oh,
to
okay.
decide on my third talent. So they all went off
I
to do
see.
a bio break. They'll be back in like 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay. I'll get myself a cup of tea then, I guess. BRB.
Okie dokie.
All right, I have returned.
All right, so I'm struggling with picking.
Yeah, what are your options?
I have tons of options. I can. What I'm thinking is, I was thinking about increasing my stealth
Okay.
by one, which would help me sneak around.
What's the stealth at now?
It's at 3, and my agility is 10. So right now it's a total of 13.
Oh wow.
So it's pretty good without
Yeah.
changing it.
Right.
But it's not flawless. But then I'm looking at a talent that is interesting, and I was wondering what you guys think about this one.
Okay.
You're difficult to. It's called all the best hiding spots. It's difficult to sneak up on you because you've already figured out all the best places to hide. Enemies attempting a stealth test within sight of you increase the difficulty of their test by one,
Oh, that's very cool.
and it's always active.
I mean, your stealth is already so strong. Um, man, that's tempting. I like that talent just because, I mean, it. Henry's like a trained spy, and like he's the kind of guy that walks into a room and like immediately cases the whole area.
Yeah.
That would be so fitting for you.
And then the other one that I really like, of course, is the one Walter has, which is perfect timing,
Oh yeah. Oh, that's even.
which would be extremely handy, um, especially if I'm attempting, say, an assassination or something. You always
Totally.
get where you need to be in the nick of time.
Ooh, that's even better. I like that even better for you.
I know.
And you what?
This the best hiding spots helps the whole team because if we're together and someone's trying to sneak up on us, it makes it extremely difficult for them to.
That does make
Well,
a lot of sense for his character with his background.
it totally does.
So it helps the whole team. And then, of course, perfect timing goes without saying. It makes me easier to sneak up on other people and kill them.
What did you use your other experience on?
Oh, I increased my brawn by one to help my
Uh-huh.
melee fighting with my knife. And I
Okay.
increased, um, crap, Marty, what did I do? I increased,
What did you do?
um, I increased my persuasion by one
Oh, that's right. That's right. That is what you
Gotcha.
did. Yep.
Man, the
because
problem is like,
I was a little surprised that there was no getting around the Hauptmann in the office.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think I even had a success on that persuasion, but he must have outrolled me. Do you remember, Marty?
I spent some threat to make it extremely hard for you.
Oh, I see. Okay.
What is your persuade as it stands now after the increase?
Oh, it's pretty good. My persuasion is normally I think it's will plus persuasion usually. Sometimes, yeah, will
Yeah.
plus persuasion. So I'm 8 plus 3 is 11,
Okay.
and I have a
You know,
deceive focus.
you know, I could see, you know, if you don't take the persuasion bump and you stay at 2, you could grab perfect timing and that one where
Yeah,
you're always on, and that's depends on if you want to go more of the infiltration focus or more of the social focus.
yeah. Well, like I said, if now here's the thing I'm going to ask the GM about is on this particular one. It says it makes the difficulty of when enemies are attempting a stealth test within sight of you,
Hmm.
increase the difficulty of their tests by +1.
Correct.
So the question is if they're trying to sneak up on us, they're using their stealth. You increase the difficulty by 1. If they fail, then do we automatically spot them or do we have to
Correct.
pass an observation? Okay. They're trying to be stealthy and they failed.
Right.
Okay. All right. It it could be good for the group. Let's think about this. How many times have we had someone sneak up on us? Because part of it is, as a group, some of our guys have really good observation, right? Doesn't Singh have a
I have a really high one. Yes, that's
really
true.
high one?
Yeah.
That's like his whole build is observation, right?
Well, that's a secondary effect of my insight build that makes observation so good. So I leaned into observation because of the fact that I have such a high insight. Uh, it makes sense to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like having brawn and taking like martial arts, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I don't generally think people can sneak up on. All right, so I'm just gonna bite the bullet. I'm gonna take the perfect timing one.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, any of that fits him. So I mean that makes a lot of
So that
sense.
means I have EXP left of 2.
Correct. Yep. Put you at a balance of 2. Um. All right. All right. So, as a side note, I've realized something that I really, and I'm wondering if this is the point behind it. I really like about this system. This whole threat system. And in Modiphius's Conan game, they have the same thing. They just call it Doom, right? And I don't know if this is the purpose behind it, but I realized what it has done for me as a GM. Anyone who's GM'd a game, whether it's D&D or any game, you name it, at some point you fudged a roll, right? At
Yeah.
some point you cheated a roll, you fudged it because it just for whatever reason, whether it's narratively or if you hadn't, the party was going to be devastated or whatever it was. At some point you fudged a roll. So the threat system kind of takes that away because you as a GM decide narratively where you really want the players to fail and you spend threat to help make that happen. And then if they still succeed, well, you know what? They earned it at that point. the,
Yeah.
the dice gods decided what story they wanted to tell, and that's all there is to it. So, anyway, just
It
an
is a cool
observation.
system.
So
Yeah.
you're saying you wanted us to fail when we were trying to use shield, huh?
Well, of course. No, no, I always root for the players, even if I make it extremely difficult. I'm still rooting for them.
That's okay.
I just want to see something heroic happen. That's all. All right.
Well,
Marty,
Hmm.
I just can you real quick because this is a little confusing for me. Can you reason influences the base power, right?
No, it depends on what type of spellcaster you are. For Walter, it does.
Oh, for Walter, it does. For me, I
Yeah,
think it just comes from insight.
yeah, I believe it comes from insight for you.
Okay, that's right. So, is there another way of raising that? I've been searching here and I can't.
No, your insight is maxed out.
And that's the only way because what it says on the character sheet that's misleading is it says, power plus, and then there's like a box there. So I'm thinking, okay, the first box is your attribute, and the second box under bonus there. I'm wondering what you're supposed to put in that. Where is
Where are
that
you
coming
looking?
from?
Help
If you
me
go
out.
spells, you're in the main, so go spells, and then
Okay.
top right, power, attributes, bonus, and you see there's like two boxes there. Mine says 5 for my attributes plus, and then there's a box that you can manipulate, and mine says 0,
Oh
so it
yeah,
goes to
it's
5.
because there's different talents and stuff you can buy that
It's
give you
the
bonus power.
talents.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Oh, I think I give you threat, and that's why I didn't do it. I
Ah,
think
gotcha.
that's I think that's what that is. Okay, okay. Thank you. Sorry.
No problem. You're fine. You're fine. All right.
all right, we're almost at our hard stop.
Um,
Well, for me,
Well,
I'm
that's
1 hour
central, I
behind you.
believe.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
So we've
Central.
got another hour.
Sorry, we got another hour.
yeah.
Good.
We're all good. We'll get stipulated.
So we uh moving it forward a little bit. In a day or so, as you guys rest and recuperate and magically become smarter, stealthier, better, faster. Um, the Nikki and Sabia give you for a heartfelt and almost teary-eyed goodbye, uh, thanking you for everything, for rescuing them, and they had of course already informed uh, Section D about everything that happened, and Section D has recalled you guys to London. You're going to head closer to you're going to head towards Paris, and you're going to pick up a plane to come across the Channel and land in England. The when you arrive, you're met by a man in uniform. Um, he's in a British royal uniform. He's got a rank of sergeant, and he has orders to pick you up. He has a car waiting outside. As
This
you're
is in London.
Yeah.
Okay.
uh, as you guys drive, it becomes very apparent that you are leaving London. You're heading north out away from London into the countryside,
Is it
and
raining?
I'm sure it probably is, right? Because I've never seen any media where they show London where it's not raining, uh, except sometimes in Doctor Who. And of course, during the Christmas special, it's usually snowing.
Have we ever been to Section D headquarters, or have we been sort of decentralized this whole time?
Uh, that's a good question. I'm sure that now Henry actually are all of you but Khan from considered part of the American military? I know Slim is, Baker is. Pilecki, are you British or American military?
American.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Because Khan, I'm sure you've been to Section D headquarters, but the rest of you probably haven't.
Bully, bully.
Can I pause for a sec? On picking these attributes. I think we were mistaken in that as a spellcaster, as a dabbler, I think I use will instead of reason. Isn't that right? Yeah. On 139, I chose to increase my reason so I could get Spanish, and I also thought that that would bump me up on my power, but it doesn't. And in the book, it says I use will as a dabbler to cast spells. So I'm
Oh, you
wondering.
are absolutely correct. So if you want to adjust that, you're welcome
Yeah,
to.
I think I'm probably going to do that because I can always pick up that language. Plus, we got Slim with his skills from talking to his girlfriend's dad.
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's what I'm
that's
doing.
fine.
Okay,
Absolutely.
cool. Thank you. Sorry.
Um,
Continue.
no, you're fine. Um, Con, you're as you guys head through London and you leave London to the north, heading into the countryside. You are very aware that that he's not driving you guys to Section D's headquarters. Section D's offices are on, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Grosvenor Street in London, and he's taking you out of London.
Are we like what sort of vehicle are we in?
A car, a large sedan, large
Are we
black
all
sedan.
in? Who's are the guys? Are we in sight of each other?
Yeah, you're all in the back of the car. Very very large, very expensive, very luxurious. Not sure what brand it is. I didn't research that part of it.
Are we in uniform?
I would say so. Yeah, at this point,
Okay. So we have weapons on us, like sidearms, holstered sidearms and shit.
sure.
I'm so suspicious now. I'm thinking we're getting driven off into the woods. That
Is
this
this
maybe isn't like an English officer at all. This is some fucking German spy intercepting us.
like a limo type thing where we're in the
Yes,
back, or is this okay?
very
Could I
much
use
so.
constantly watching my talent to detect danger? Is this mundane? Like he's just taking us somewhere that he's supposed to be, or is this like you know
No, there's no indication from him whatsoever that.
that we're in danger?
Yeah,
All right, let's not overthink it and kill the Section D guy.
Yeah, I'm about to put two in the head, one in the chest on this guy because I can't really see his chest, so I'll have to have two in the head.
Set Baker on him. Yeah.
Yeah, Baker, could you take care of this guy, please? Where are you taking us, my good man?
he looks, glances up in the rear view, and says that I have. He says I've got orders to. Okay, wow, it just got really loud in the next room. Says I have orders to take you to Section M.
I see. I will digest that information.
Okay. Um, y- you know, I would say you know about Section M.
I work for Section M.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. Um, so yeah, you do work for Section M. That's correct. And I think even Pilecki knows about Section M because Pilecki's part of Majestic, and Section M is the British equivalent or partner. So, and there's a little bit of a different focus. Section M is focused on the occult, whereas Majestic is focused on psychic and ESP powers. So, um, about
I
an
will turn
hour.
to. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, go
I
ahead.
was gonna say I will turn to young Slim. Master Slim, you're in for what I believe you would call a treat.
How so, Inspector?
Well, remember those conversations we had in Vienna?
I I do not know to what you are referring.
Well, then I shall not spoil the surprise, young man.
And he's a little confused, and and he says, "I never did make it out to England before. It's kind of interesting. They drive on the wrong side of the road.
Oh, yes. Many things are wrong about England.
Well, shit, I got to try this someday. And I don't know. He's rifling through whatever snacks or whatever in the back, whatever British stuff he can find.
The 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 car turns off the road onto a long gravel road, and you're coming up on a huge estate, Victorian style estate, large manor house, outbuildings. Everything is there's a lot of activity. There's people moving about. There's people going in and out of buildings. There's three or four buildings that look like they're fairly new construction. They don't quite match the Victorian style of the house. You guess the house is decades old. But there's newer buildings that are more utilitarian, more modern and basic. Um, the gravel drive comes up around in a circle, and the driver stops in front of the manor house. Uh, a man comes up to the side of the car, and he uh, he opens the door. He sees the four of you. He's kind of nondescript, probably in his late 40s, wearing a black kind of house servant suit, that type of thing. And as he opens the door, he says, "Gentlemen, welcome to Section M." And he kind of stands back and motions for the four of you to step out of the car.
Well, Slim steps out,
What's this
and
individual's rank?
What's that?
What's this individual's rank?
He's not wearing a uniform.
Do,
He,
do I recognize him? Is he
mm,
somebody I've seen before?
probably, yeah. He is one of the Honorable Alexander Ward Grey Viscount Toten's uh, uh,
Well, that explains it.
manservants. Yeah, the Right Honorable Alexander Ward Grey Viscount Toten is or Towton. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Is the head of the new and extraordinarily underfunded Section M.
Hmm.
And this man, you've seen this man. He's just one of the servants that came with the house, essentially.
so
He's not military.
No, he's not military.
Slim like steps out and he like kind of tugs on his uniform a little bit, and he looks over at Inspector Singh, and he says, "So, are all these limeys living like this?"
Um, the inspector will give you a bit of a sour look at the expletive that you chose to use.
Oh, all right, settle down. He says, I gotta move here. I need one of my these here manservants. That'd be nice. Like
Sergeant,
talking.
Sergeant, if you would be so kind to open the boot, please, so we can retrieve our baggage and belongings.
Perfect. He obliges.
Well. Now careful with that. Now they've been banged around a bit. I just put her back together, and then I guess he like meanders up the steps.
Yeah, the he leads you up these stone steps to this, like I said, this huge Victorian design house, large, 14-foot tall or so oak double doors, which he opens up, revealing a wide hallway. There's sweeping steps in the back that go up. There's 12-foot tall doors that lead into other rooms. Uh, as he leads you inside, he motions at a series of benches that line the hall, and says, "If you'll be good enough to wait here, uh, I believe Major McMasters will be with you shortly." And
Okay.
he he shuffles off to handle whatever else he has to do. You hear the car outside start up and pull away. There's a number of
Slim.
people milling through.
Oh,
Sorry, there's a number of people milling through the
no worries.
hall. Some are in uniform, some are not. There's people that obviously just work in the house itself. Then there's people in military uniform, and then there's even just people in suits. Sorry, go ahead, Slim.
Oh, nothing. I was going to say Slim's probably like picking around, looking at pictures and things. But if there's people in uniform in here, he's. I think he might be a little scared stiff and remembering some formality here, than keeping his hands to himself.
um, as you're waiting, a relatively short but lithe man wearing a suit and with a pipe hanging out of the corner of his mouth uh, enters the hallway from a side room. He is walking with a gorgeous blonde woman who is in a military uniform but with no rank on it. He's looking at a he's got a pocket watch in his hand that he's looking at as she talks to him.
I
And
will lean close to Slim and whisper, "Here comes the treat I told you about."
He smiles wide and like attempts to. You see the battle within him of trying to look away.
Hog the spotlight.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, right there.
um, she as they're crossing the hall headed towards the steps at the back, um, she whatever she's saying to him, and you recognize, by the way, Khan, the man in the suit is Towton. But she kind of stops what she's saying for a moment, and she turns. We're going to go even, odd, even. She turns and fixes you, Khan, with a steely glare, as if she
Oh boy.
apparently
What have I
heard.
done now?
She apparently heard what you said.
Oh, I will
Um,
snap. I will snap too. Straighten my uniform. I'm terribly sorry. Terribly
All right,
sorry. I
Slim
will.
follows suit.
If it wasn't for this giant beard, you might see that he's blushing.
um,
Uh,
everybody in the hall uh, realizes this has happened and just gets very quiet and pretends to go about their business. And then she looks back to Towton, and they start up the steps. You swear for just a moment you might have caught the edge of a smile before she turned away from you guys. Um, a voice in a very proper, very proper English with a very proper English accent uh, calls to you and says you should be careful on getting on Ms. Walsh's bad side. You look up. There's a man in uniform coming right towards the four of you. He's in a British Army uniform. Rank insignia indicates that he is a major. He is unlike any current British major you've ever seen in that he has an actual broadsword on his side attached to a belt, and he has a quiver, an actual quiver of arrows on his back.
Okay.
All right. I think Slim and Singh being caught in this or whatever, like, he snapped to attention with Singh, and and he's what does he say? He says something like, uh, "Of course, sir. Man, no offense, sir."
Well, when the major walks in, Khan will salute.
He
Because I don't know the rank of the other two, do I?
uh, well, Towton technically does not have a rank,
Okay,
um,
that's kind of what I figured.
and Margaret, aka Peggy, um, Wilson or Walsh, I'm sorry, is a conundrum because she wears a British Army uniform, but no one knows what her rank is, only that she works directly for Towton.
Well, so yeah, so when the major who's got an official rank walks in, Khan will salute crisply.
Yeah.
As will Pilecki will get up, and I'm sure that Luca will stand at attention as well.
Could I
Darby.
please say "Sa"?
Walter is clearly not standing at attention. He's just, he's got his bag with his shield in it and a duffel bag with his stuff. And he's just standing at ease.
I think you were making Slim sweat because I think Slim is like fresh out of training or whatever when he was pulled in to this, and so is just scared stiff by being low fish, so to
Oh
speak.
yeah, oh yeah.
um, he so he repays he salutes back. He breaks the salute and says, uh, "Gentlemen, if you will follow me, we have much to discuss." And he, without looking to see if you guys are following him at all, he turns and he starts heading towards a side door in the hall. Uh,
Off we go, lads.
he brings you into a tiny room, which is little more than a closet that's been converted into an office, and he goes and sits, or he goes around the side of this desk that's crammed in there and gets to a chair in the back. There's no other chairs in the office. There's barely standing room for the four of you plus a dog. Uh, he says, "I am Major McMasters." Now, despite having what you might identify as an Irish name, he does not speak with an Irish accent. Um, he says, your actions in Vienna and Rome have come to the attention of Section M. Section D has passed you on to us because while you accomplished your tasks where they're concerned, they have no further need of you, and they frankly don't believe in what you claim to have experienced. So, why don't you tell me everything that has happened?
Slim looks around nervously to Khan or Baker because I'm not even sure he really understands.
Right, you missed half of it.
Well, I suppose that Khan will give him a official debrief in his best, military police
Are there
tradition.
any chairs in here?
No, just the one he's sitting in.
Continue, Con.
Well, I was just hoping to cover this through like a blanket generic
Yeah,
role
that's fine.
playing.
He, uh,
I'll pipe in as well, and assuming that Section M is more amiable to mystical things, I'll fill them in and how we got our threads to pull on using my seeing ability.
Slim's in the back making faces.
I just had a thought.
I will stress the courage and ingenuity of the Americans.
Out of game, I just had a thought. We've seen shit that would turn you white.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Um,
That's funny.
so all right, as you give him the
Uh,
full rundown. Go ahead.
well, I'm just saying. I'm trying to remember who has the samples that were taken off the bodies. Was it
no, it's still
Walter?
me.
Walter?
So they're probably a little ripe, but I
Walter?
still have them.
Why don't why don't you why don't you show the
Yeah.
major
And major, perhaps,
some of your collection?
yeah, and
Is
major,
Miss May
perhaps.
and the other guy in here with us?
What's
No,
that?
I think just a.
No, it's just the major.
It's just a major. Okay.
Yeah, I'll say perhaps these need warrant for a further analysis, and I put down a stinky set of fingers and claw
Yeah.
and open it up for him.
He 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 doesn't even glance at it. Um, he says, "With some of the things I've seen in the last 7 years, literal snake people seems to be the most believable. But certainly, some of the gentlemen in our laboratories, can do some additional cataloging and research on these. Now, where is this device that you have recovered? This shield?"
Well, I've been protecting it here in this bag. So I open the bag and take out the shield and set it on his desk.
You know,
Also, I look at Khan and say, maybe the figurine should make its appearance.
Indeed. I will reach into my vest and pull out the statuette and put it on the table.
And then,
which is funny because as you move it from your vest, and yes, and Khan's reaching forward to place it on the table, the arm literally pivots the whole time and points directly at the shield.
As you will note, the
Amazing.
statue has an interesting property.
and I'll pull the notebook out of my breast pocket and set it on the table and tell him these are notes uh, that refer to Dr. Ehrlichman's work in Vienna, and we have not. They're in German. We haven't read them in much detail so far, but they indicate that this is just one part of a bigger weapon that's made of multiple parts, and that it alludes to the other parts being in other areas of the world, which, of course, you should probably already know if you read the report that our colleagues from Rome sent in.
He, yeah, his eyes are resting on this crystal shield, and he looks up at Henry and asks, "Have you touched this?"
Well, obviously I did because I just set it on your desk.
Well, it was wrapped, so
Oh,
Oh,
I
I pull the wrapping off. Yes, I'm the one who has been.
Tell him how you sleep with it naked at night.
it's just for warmth. It doesn't mean anything. Um,
He wakes up glowing. It's weird.
he says, "I am impressed, Mr. Baker, that you're able to give it up so easily. I am not sure I've seen such a pure vein of Blauer Cristal. He
Well,
says, "We're going to leave it right there. I will have."
I don't know what Flower Crystal is.
No, you don't, do you?
no, we're about to ask. Flower crystal.
At least that is what the Germans who discovered it call it. Whatever this is, it's from Atlantis. These blue veins you see that are these blue veins of glowing crystal are an ancient power source that comes from Atlantis. We know that Nachtwolfe seeks as much of it as they can find in their goal to creating new weapons. They bend this power source to their wills and their technologies to create some particularly nasty new inventions. As far as what else this does, I cannot be sure, but I'm surprised that you so willingly gave it up, Mr. Baker.
Well, I don't understand. When I when I took it off the when I took it off the statue that was where it was placed, I felt I felt something. I'm assuming something almost otherworldly, but it I it didn't seem to affect me. I seem to have no problem carrying the shield or presenting it to you for study.
You're
I
you you must be a man of great willpower.
well,
Uh,
if I'd say that, but
Lord Acton once wrote in a letter to a bishop in 1887, "Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely." And the power contained within this shield, whatever it is no different. The more the more of it Nachtwolfe finds, the more powerful they become, and the more corrupt they become. And Nachtwolf is not the only group of, shall we say, creatures or beings that are after this. So
Does Khan, with his occult academia, does he have any uh,
make a roll.
make a roll?
Yeah,
Okay.
make. We're going to call it difficulty two.
I have that too. So can
That's
I?
a
Go ahead.
reason roll,
Yeah,
right? It's a reason roll.
yeah.
Academia.
Reason with academia
Yeah.
and occult as a focus. Yep.
Difficulty 2.
Difficulty two. Oh,
wow,
look at you.
I have heard of this.
Oh, but poor Pilecki is not.
Yeah.
Um, Khan, you are, of course, because of your occult background. You obviously know a degree about um, the old gods and elder things and that type of thing. There is a creature, a species. You're not. No one's sure where it's from, whether it's. And there's some people that claim that it is not from Earth. And when we say not from Earth, we don't mean from a different dimension like some of the mythos creatures, but literally from another planet out in space. Uh, a species called the Mi-Go, Mi-Go, and they seem to be attracted to this to sources of to terrestrial sources of power.
I see.
So
This is not good.
you think that might be what he's referring to.
Is that something you are musing aloud, or is that internal?
It would be internal. Khan is as proper as you've ever seen him right now.
Major McMaster says, "Gentlemen, uh, we are preparing quarters for you here for 2 days. Continue to rest and regain your strength. We will work to get you resupplied. Section M, we are stretched very thin and we are underfunded. No different." And he looks straight at Walter Pilecki. He goes, "No different from, say, American Majestic. However, whatever this is, the if it is in fact a weapon, it can't it cannot fall into Nazi hands. Be it Nachtwolf or the Black Sun, or even if uh, other things are after it. You must go after it. After the rest of the pieces, we Section M can provide you transportation to wherever you need to go. You simply need to we need to decide where the next stop should be, I suppose.
Cool.
In the meantime, you've been recommended for some commendations. Uh, More to follow on that.
Double secret
It's funny
probation.
you should say that, because as the ranking British military officer, I was going to recommend them for commendations. So that's good.
Yeah, regardless of his opinions of what we do here at Section M, Captain Strang at Section D feels that you have accomplished great things on your mission retrieving those two agents. So we'll discuss more of that in time. Do you gentlemen have anything else to add?
No, sir.
The Section M and the British government, of course, appreciates your commitment to the effort. The Nazis represent the greatest evil the world has ever seen, and forces within them are even worse if that is possible. You are dismissed for now. I will see you back here in my office 0900 hours in 3 days.
Wow.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Henry looks at the rest of them and says, what the heck are we supposed to do for 3 days?"
Pilecki
Well,
says, I
I
know. He pulls out a ball, bounces it on the floor, and gets Luca's attention, says, we're going to go play fetch.
I haven't heard that the British food is all that appetizing.
Well, shit. At this point, I'd eat the ass end of a dead raccoon.
There it is. There it is. It had to happen, didn't it?
And he looks around and he says, "Baker, I think I saw some horses out there. That'd be kind of fun to go riding out here. Haven't been out in a while. Come on, enjoy the R&R." And he slaps his shoulder and then, I don't know, walks down the hall.
I thought you were going to say ass.
Enjoy.
Come on, Baker. Right on the ass. That would probably be the last thing your character would ever remember doing.
Yeah, Baker just gives him a strange look.
Yeah, I think Slim is going to spend these 3 days sort of meandering around and sticking his nose in things, but if he gets the opportunity, if he's on this manor, I think he will. I don't know. I think he just likes the outdoors, and he'll take an opportunity, maybe like if there's horses on the manor, to like, you know, go out and spend some time outdoors.
Baker's going to spend time meticulously cleaning and rebuilding his pistol.
Oh, yeah.
He doesn't need the Luger at the moment. That's only if he has to act in disguise. And he's going to spend some time sharpening his knife to a razor edge.
Of course. All right. Um, so let's see here. Sing, what is your rank?
I believe it said second. Yeah, second lieutenant. Second, excuse me, lieutenant.
Yep, yep,
Let's
yep.
get that straight.
And yeah, yeah, that's right. Absolutely, it would be. So, all right, so that's fine. Slim, what are you? Are you a corporal
I'm a corporal.
in
Yep,
the U.S. Army?
that's right.
Yeah. Okay, so that actually stays the same.
Okay.
Baker, what is your rank, Baker?
Sergeant in the U.S. Army, but not not by choice.
All right, you stay there, and then last but not least, Palecki, what is your rank?
I thought I was a sergeant, but for some reason I've got second lieutenant in here. We must have changed that.
I do believe that you are considered an officer, actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Once you have, do you have academia?
Yeah. Yeah. I've got.
Well, that means you have some. You probably have some university or other training, which
No,
would make you officer material.
I suppose.
well, that and your occult status kind of.
Probably when I went to Majestic or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. My apologies, Khan. You would actually, yeah, there. You would actually move up to a full lieutenant, and same thing goes for you, Walter. You both would move up to a full lieutenant.
That just lieutenant or first lieutenant, or how does it work in the
In the British
British
Army,
world?
it's just lieutenant.
Lieutenant. Okay.
Yeah. Um, and the U.S. Army, it would be first, of course. Um, Now, in terms of medals, yeah, yay. Let's see here. Who has got. Well, we'll just go down my list. Baker's at 29 points. Baker is U.S. Army. Baker ends up getting awarded a Bronze Star.
Very
Wow.
nice.
Um, Pilecki is Section M, U.S. Army. And achieved, what, 30 XP points that mission? The Legion of the Bald Eagle.
Oof. All right. Where do we note these?
Um, probably is a truth, I would imagine. Sing is Majestic, the Section M Gold Gallantry Star. And then, oh, that's interesting. Slim, you are U.S. Army,
Hmm.
and you earned over 30 XP that mission, so you actually received the Silver Star.
Oh shit.
That's a big one.
That's a big one. Of course, Baker doesn't care about medals.
No,
Wow.
Yeah, that was a heck of a mission, actually.
that was.
Um, so I mean, there's uh, you guys R&R montage, and you come back to the major's office on the appointed time. Um, and he cutting through it a little bit because I'm looking at the time. And we're obviously not going to start the next scenario today. But anyway, he says that we believe the item you retrieved is called the Clypeus, or the Clypeus. I think it would be pronounced Clypeus.
Spell
Clypeus.
CLYP.
Cleus.
Hmm.
What would be the Latin pronunciation of that? Probably the Y would probably be pronounced like an E, I imagine. Uh,
Perhaps Clepius.
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Um, I think it would be pronounced Clepius. That's one complaint that I.
Dictionary online says Clypius, but who knows if that's correct.
um, I want to try something. Give me 1 second. I'm going to try one thing. Hmm. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Block.
Gleipeus.
My thing is telling me it'd be pronounced Clypeus, but it is Latin. Neither here nor there. It This is one piece of something called the Palladian, which I believe you've determined that already from what you've seen. There are four more scattered throughout the world, and we can't be sure. You've got more locations. We've got more locations to look into than we do pieces. So we're uncertain as to where the next direction to send you. This, and he holds up the he holds up the shield is not in his office anymore. We I promise you we have top men studying it right now.
Top men?
That's right, top men. But this he holds up the figurine. Uh, Also an Atlantean artifact, as I'm sure you've surmised. We're certain it acts as a sort of compass. We believe that the arm points to the closest piece of the Palladian. We believe, and we're simply drawing our conclusions from Nachtwolf research, that as you put distance between yourself and the shield, and get closer to another piece, that the arm will choose to point it that in the direction of that piece of the Palladian instead. We must recover these. We must recover them as quickly as possible. At the least, we must. If we cannot recover them all, we need to at least keep as many of them out of Nazi hands as possible. If it means destroying them, so be it.
How may they be destroyed?
We're working on that. We
So
are
you don't know.
we are
Just
certain
just say you don't know.
we are certain we can destroy the shield, but the results might be catastrophic. Laura Crystal is dangerous. We don't know if the other pieces have their own deposits of the crystal or not. It's possible the shield is the power source for the rest of the weapon. We simply do not know. And that's what we need you to find out. Recover as many of the pieces, bring them back to Section M. As many as you can. And if you can't recover another, if you cannot recover one, destroy it by any means possible.
You can count on us.
Understood.
All right, well, gentlemen, the ball is in your court. Where do you think you want to head next?
Well, Baker's recommendation was going from closest location to outward, right?
Yeah, I think from London, Cairo, of all your potential locations, I think Cairo is still by far the closest.
I mean,
That was a lot
is
of fun.
distance of travel? I mean, distance of travel a barrier, though? Do we have to
Not
have that
really,
in
no,
consideration? I mean,
because the world's not at war yet, so you still have. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the phony war period, so you still have pretty unrestricted travel.
I guess I'd only, I mean, yeah, it's closer and it's probably easier to get to, but if we can pretty much get to wherever we want, do we want to go to Egypt first if we don't have a language for it?
Well, I do speak Arabic.
Yep.
Oh, I'm supposed to. Well, I mean,
And Egypt is very
uh,
much under
is it
British
Ottoman?
control at the moment too.
No, it's
So
British too. Okay, so I guess it doesn't
between
matter.
Arabic and English, yeah, you're pretty
Yeah,
much
we'll
good
be
for
okay.
Egypt.
Okay.
And then your other options are what? India, which you have covered also because of
Right.
seeing. Nepal. Um, Interesting. I wonder what the general language is in Nepal. Let's find out, shall we?
I bet it's a hodgepodge.
Yeah, probably.
They
Does
might
Khan
speak.
already
They
have a
might speak
spell?
Punjabi there.
Does Khan already have his spell, or does he still have to meet up with a teacher?
I'm kind of bypassing it because it's difficult to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was more. I think that rule was more designed for kind of individual one shots and not necessarily campaigns. Oh my God, the number one language spoken in Nepal is Nepali.
Hmm.
However, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different languages and dialects also spoken in Nepal, including English.
Okay.
So you hit it pretty on the head there. It's a hodgepodge of many different languages. Nepali is the number one most spoken. That's 44% of the population. So Nepal and Honduras are probably the two you'd have the most difficulty getting around in.
Not to
Well,
mention Nepal's going to be cold as shit.
yeah, well, you know.
Uh, so no instructions whatsoever from M. We're basically they want us to find all the pieces. They don't care where we start.
Correct.
All right, guys, somebody pick.
Well, any of these are going to be cool. I mean, super pulpy, all of them. I mean, Egypt is a good start. I mean, that's about as pulpy as it gets. So I'm
I
in on
say
that.
I say Egypt too. Then.
I also agree with Egypt.
All right.
Plus,
So
when we get off the boat or whatever, I plan on singing "I am the ruler of the sea" in a super loud British voice
Yeah.
accent. Okay.
The Palladian,
This is so
it
cool.
is not of this world. It was not meant to be found. Um, as a uh, one other one piece of instruction, gentlemen, McMaster's says, drawing your attention before you leave. Should you come across the opportunity to rid the world of one Ernst Pretsche, I suggest you do not hesitate.
And how do
No,
you recommend we eliminate one of the world's most powerful sorcerers?
He is still mortal.
Are you saying that if he bleeds, we can kill him? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I only
Just
say
I'm
these
pretty
things because
sure.
I know you get them.
I,
Makes me laugh.
I'm gonna tell you I watched a Destroyer of Worlds playthrough where these guys were dropping every reference they could from any 80s action or sci-fi or horror flick, and it was fantastic. It was
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. Um, Even including lines from the chopper in Predator, you know, some of the more homophobic stuff.
Yeah, those are so well received these days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, they modified them a little bit, but everybody knew what they were quoting, and
Oh
it
sure.
made it great.
Oh sure.
There was even a line. someone said, it said to Hammer, "What is it?" And Hammer goes, "I'm scared." And the other guy goes, "Bullshit! You ain't afraid of no man." And he replies, "There's something up there waiting for us, and it ain't no man." It was like
And it ain't no man.
That's great.
these guys are great. Just pushing those lines straight into this game.
Yeah, awesome.
Ernst Prussia is a dangerous, dangerous man, but he's still mortal. And now he has Ehrlichman's research. I understand the situation you were put into, why you turned it over, but we have to assume that in addition to Nachtwolf, in addition to the Black Sun, we have to assume that Ernst Prussia is also trying to gather pieces of the Palladian. If you come across him again, you must kill him.
Great. Well, we're gonna need some more guys.
I need a bigger boat.
More
Well, I'll
spells.
keep my saddle oiled and my gun greased.
Or to quote an obscure Rudger Hauer movie, and you tell me if you recognize this one. Now we get bigger fucking guns.
Slim
Yeah, I
likes the sound of
do.
that.
I don't know about that one, but do you recognize this one? We should be drinking and fucking by now.
Yeah, the Rudger Hauer one is a quote from a underknown and underappreciated movie called Split Second.
I do not recognize that one. The
You
one I
got
said is from Blood of Heroes.
right, 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 right. Yeah, you gotta check out you gotta check out Split Second. Um,
That's not the one where he's blind, is it? With the sword.
no, that's Blind Fury, which
Blind
is
Fury.
one of those
Oh,
goofy '80s
that
movies.
one hurt to watch.
Yeah,
Hurt my brain.
Split Second is really shockingly good. Um,
Dude, I
it's
was on track to be a Rhodes Scholar, and then I watched Blind Fury, and that shit's all just was over in an hour and a half. All the things I could have done.
Don't doubt it. Um,
The equivalent of getting a TBI.
all right, so the decision is Egypt, I guess.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Bad dates.
Yep.
yeah,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
looking forward to this.
And I'm just going to read you one piece, and then we'll call it here. In the red and white land, the land of the black earth and the bountiful waters, they shall make a home, promising to remember the mistakes of the past so that they might never repeat them. That which they carry with them besides their thoughts and memories and fears shall be guarded, protected, and nurtured until such time as it is no longer safe to leave it be. And so they will seek to hide it, burying it deep in the hope that the light of darkness will never find it and bend its will to that of rigid order and insanity. At the rising of the sun on the horizon there shall come a day which they should have foreseen but have been blinded to in the surety of their faith and understanding. And there it lies in the maw of that most ancient enemy born out of sleep's hollow nightmare, and awaiting its revenge, ready for the taking, the light which cannot be. Extract as translated by Dr. Botho Ehrlichman.
Wild.
So, yeah, 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 yeah. So,
Oh, Botho.
yeah, poor guy got got killed by Fuchs's guys trying to find out what he knew, and then he got resurrected and killed again after his body got interrogated by Black Sun. Poor
Oh,
bastard.
yeah. Brutal.
Do you guys
Sounds
know who
awful.
Black Sun is, or has it just been mentioned?
I know what Black Hole Sun is.
Yeah.
It's just been mentioned.
Okay, it's just been mentioned. Um, Pilecki or Khan might know who Black Sun is, but we'll have that discussion at another time.
Okay.
The Hauptmann in the site office referred to Black Sun too.
He did.
Hmm.
Isn't that the Germans' Section M? Isn't that? Or Majestic, it's the German end of it.
Well, sort of. Sort of. In game terms, you guys obviously know about Nachtwolfe. Then you've got Black Sun. So yeah, Black Sun is more equivalent to Section M, and Nachtwolfe maybe you'd say is more equivalent to American Majestic. Nachtwolf doesn't generally believe in magic. They believe that magic has magic has its foundations in technology or science that you just don't understand, is what it amounts to. Whereas Black Sun actually legitimately believes in and practices magic. Um, Majestic and Section M on the British and American sides are not quite as black and white as that. They cross over into the gray areas a little bit more, but Majestic being the American occult intelligence group, because let's be blunt, America is such a new thing. They don't really have these ancient traditions. That's why they focus on psychic powers and stuff like that. So,
That makes sense.
yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, awesome. Let's see. What is next week? Next week is the 25th. And then the week after that's the first. I do not know if I'm going to be available to play on the first.
Okay.
I I'll find out, but at this point I just don't know the answer. Of course, the let's see here. This is getting a little ahead of ourselves, but let me look at this here. 23rd, 25th. So just looking at August, just looking ahead, I have a convention the 23rd through the 25th, which means I won't be able to play on Thursday the 22nd. I normally have that day off from the day job, but I'll have to work that day. Um, so I don't know if I can play the first or not. The 8th and 15th I'm on, but next week the 25th I should be good to go.
Yeah, the
Okay.
only
Sounds good.
wrinkle I have is my wife is having surgery on the 8th.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's in the morning. I won't be able to do the 8th, but it looks like I'm clear for everything else.
Okay. All right. Well, if we have to skip the 8th, it's fine. I mean, we'll
Yeah,
play next week. Hopefully, we can play the first.
yeah.
Then we'll skip the 8th and the 22nd. So we'll still get plenty of time in.
All right, cool. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh no, man! It's what it is.
Life comes first.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Absolutely. All right. Cool, guys. I will see you next week.
Yeah,
Sounds
next
good.
week we look for the Well of Souls.
That's right.
Great.
We're going to be
Awesome.
digging in the wrong place.
Yeah, oh, you're right. All right, cool.
Very good.
Later,
See ya.
guys.
See ya.
Thanks, guys.